He got his first pair of skis when he was a year old. I'd offer him up, what would you like to do? And you know, you have a lot of choices here. And every time he wanted to ski. Here I am in my silly one-piece suit, and here's this little bomber kid, and 5 and 6 years old, just skiing anything. So that was my, like, this is his deal. This kid is the kid who loves to ski.
I met him when he was probably 11, 12 years old. He was just this little kid, ripping around the mountain, energy through the roof, tossing backflips everywhere.
I first met or heard of Colby Stevenson at the terrain park. He was just a young kid.
Skiing Park City and having all these professionals going around, Tanner Hall, Tom Wallisch.
Whatever I or another pro was doing, he'd be following and trying to do the same trick.
In my mind, he was kind of that little kid for a long time. And then all of a sudden, he's who he is now.
"2016 was a sweet year for me.
That was the first year I really saw Colby kind of take control of his skiing and really focus on what he wants and what he needs.
Coming into that summer, he was just firing, learning new tricks, learning a new triple cork, all the way up to making on the US rookie team and just progressing so fast.
I mean, those are usually the seasons where you see kids just fully make a name for themselves. They start doing tricks that no one else can do. They have great style, and they're just hungry skiing nonstop.
It ended at West Coast Sessions in Mount Hood, big summer session. Had an amazing trip. I won MVP and best trick.
He had called me, he was up at Mount Hood, and he's like, hey, you remember John Michael Fabrizi? And I said, yeah. I said, what's going on? And he's like, you know, my buddy broke his leg.
And I think Colby was originally planning to fly back to Salt Lake, but since his friend couldn't drive his truck with a broken leg, Colby was helping him out and doing him a big favor and driving him back. And unfortunately, I believe they left maybe just a little too late in the day.
Yeah, it was a 12-hour drive. My dad told me to get a hotel, and I said, nah, I'm all good. Like, I'll make it through.
I believe around midnight or so, he just started to kind of doze off a bit.
Fell asleep for 2 seconds, so yeah, life can change in the blink of an eye.
It was on Mother's Day. I looked over and my phone, you know how your iPhone lights up when there's a lot of messages? Well, they happened all very quickly. And as soon as I saw one of the messages, I knew it was Colby. He's still alive, but they had no status other than that. My husband and I were in, of all places, Molokai, Hawaii. It was like a full day on the airplane to get back. And there's a lot of thinking time there, parentally, and praying.
I had a chance to go down and visit Colby while he was in the hospital, and it was traumatizing for me. He was so slender, lost so much weight.
A lot of us didn't know if he was even gonna be the same kid. Just seeing the bandages all over his head, seeing how swollen his face was, hearing how many surgeries he had to have and how his skull was fractured.
Prior to him coming home, he had neurological, they were saying, you know, there could be neurologicals, and he had almost like if he'd had a stroke or a tic on the right side. So he was drooling some, his laugh wasn't the same, he couldn't talk quite the same.
Yeah, I went from feeling on top of the world to then just not knowing if I was ever gonna ski again. It was a really tough time.
With this head injury, there's not like a set path for how you come back to skiing, but for him, he's just that guy, like just focused on it like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, this kid is determined to ski.
I baffled my doctors. I'm in the 1% of people who have that kind of skull fracture and no brain damage. We sat in there for the follow-up, and I was firing all these questions at him. When can I ski again? You know, all this stuff. He's looking at me like a crazy person, but he's like, well, you know, it's gonna heal. Like your skull's gonna heal together stronger, so I don't see why you can't go back to skiing as long as your brain feels okay.
You can recover a muscle, you can rebuild your broken collarbone, but to rebuild your brain and your competitiveness, your confidence, like so much of that after such a traumatic injury is almost impossible to rebuild that confidence.
I had a lot of character building during that time, kind of got to sit back and realize that I needed to appreciate the little things in life. And when I could finally get back on a mountain bike, I was so thankful, and I felt like a little kid again who just learned how to ride a bike.
He was so grateful. It just seemed to launch him to another level of doing even more. It's like not wanting to miss anything.
He can't stay still. He can't sit in his house all day. He has to go do something. He needs a little bit of an adrenaline rush.
Those sports are what fuel him and what keep him alive, what keep him happy.
He was back, he was healthy, and he set his goals high and was trying to achieve them as quick as he could.
He's just that guy, like so determined. As fast as he could get back on skis, that's what he wanted to do.
First day back skiing in New Zealand, it was 5 months after the car crash. There was so much uncertainty building up to that moment.
I think a lot of us were really only expecting him to just maybe ski some groomers, take it slow that season.
I had neck pain, but I was able to just do some tricks, get my feet back under me, and then I had to throw down my favorite trick, dub 10 blunt, just to know that if I could land that I was back.
And I remember seeing the first video he put out, and he was already doing like half his tricks.
Within like 8 months of this absolutely traumatic car crash, he's back on the World Cup circuit and he wins a World Cup free ski event. I didn't expect him to be skiing.
Winning a World Cup, especially when he did after his injury, and continuing to hit podiums, you could tell Colby was ready. Colby was on fire.
Coming into 2020, Colby had never been to the X Games, and as a kid in action sports, X Games is the pinnacle of all of our sports and where you dream of making it to.
When he got that invite, I was really excited for him, and I knew that Colby's one of the most consistent skiers I know, so I was really excited for him, and I knew he had a really good chance of winning.
Colby's invited to 2 events, the Knuckle Huck and Slopestyle. The first of the weekend is Knuckle Huck.
To get that email and know I was invited, I was like, woohoo! Finally gonna get to show the world what I got.
Good to go? Colby Stevenson sits in that top spot as of right now. He is on course right now for his second attempt.
The 5-10 to 5. Hey, Colby. Lighting it up.
Your current leader, Colby Stevenson, an X Games rookie. First ever X Games walks out of here with gold.
You know, I think that just really sparked his whole weekend. You know, that was a catalyst for him to really be confident and be ready for the slopestyle event, which is kind of every skier's dream, is to win that event.
There was a new format, jam format, a lot of runs, and I know Colby has a lot of tricks and just this drive to land everything. So going into it, I was like, he's a rookie, but this could be his year.
No rookie has ever won gold in slopestyle before.
Into the right side 450 there.
Oh, a double grab variation. Colby Stevenson cannot be stopped. He is landing absolutely everything.
It was almost magical to be there. You could tell he was having the moment of his life.
The rookie Colby Stevenson.
When he got to his 4th run, he hadn't made a single mistake, and at that point, we're like, well, what's he gonna do? It's so exciting, and I think a lot of us knew that he most likely had to win at that point, and it was pretty interesting to be at the bottom, and it was really cool for me to be hanging with his family and a lot of his best friends from Park City, watching this special day.
Colby Stevenson, your gold medalist out here.
To have my whole family there at the bottom, you know, was a dream come true, and I obviously just want to make them proud, and through all the tough times we've been through, to come out, do well, you know, ski well. They're just happy for me that I'm happy.
He was just like on it, just this level of confidence and excitement, and just never fell and dominated. Walked away with the gold above and beyond what every other skier was doing that day.
He didn't win just one X Games medal. He won 2 X Games medals plus a 3rd one that was for the overall athlete, and I didn't even know they had one of those. He just that entire weekend shined, and I can't even tell you how special that was.
The car crash changed Colby and brought him to a humbler, more appreciative guy.
I always remember that I'm living like my bonus years. Everything from now on is just an addition to what I would have missed.
And for a talented, determined guy like Colby, I mean, X Games gold and more, the sky is the limit.